I woke up that morning thinking I was the luckiest man alive. The light was pouring in through the window of the suite my groomsmen rented for me. My best man was still snoring on the pull-out couch, and my phone was buzzing with congratulations, last-minute checks, and a reminder from the venue. I rolled over and looked at the silk dress shirt hanging on the closet door. Today was the day. After 3 years of dating, countless obstacles, and one nervous proposal, I was marrying Jessica. She had texted me an hour before sunrise. Can't believe it's finally happening. I love you. Can't wait to be your wife. I smiled so hard my cheeks hurt. This was it. No cold feet. No doubts. Just love. While I was getting dressed, one of her bridesmaids came in and said Jess had left her phone in the bridal suite. She asked me to bring it to her since the girls were all busy getting hair and makeup done. Easy task. I picked it up off the table, screen still lit up. And then the notification popped in. See, can't wait to see you tonight. I bet he won't even notice smiling face with horns. At first, I didn't process it. I stared at it like it was a mistake. Some weird joke. Wrong number? But the way my heart dropped. I knew it wasn't. I locked the screen. My palms were suddenly clammy. My mouth was dry. I know I shouldn't have, but I unlocked her phone. We had each other's passwords. Trust was never an issue before. There it was. A string of messages from someone named C. No full name. Just C. I miss your body. Last night was incredible. Don't worry. I'll disappear after today. Just know, you're mine when he's not around. I read those words over and over, each one slicing deeper than the last. My bride. My future wife. The woman I thought I knew inside and out. I wanted to scream, cry, throw the phone across the room. But instead I just stood there, holding the phone like it was a live grenade. I locked it again, slipped it in my pocket, and walked out. Down the hallway, people were smiling, clapping me on the back, saying how happy I looked. I felt like I was sinking under the weight of a secret no one else could see. In the restroom, I splashed cold water on my face. I looked in the mirror and saw a version of myself I didn't recognize. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not today. Not to me. I stared at myself and asked the only question I could get out. Who the hell is C? My mind raced through everyone I could think of. An ex? A coworker? A cousin? None of it made sense. Jess and I spent almost every day together the last few months, finalizing the venue, writing vows, attending pre-wedding events. When would she even have time? I knew I couldn't ask her yet. Not here. Not like this. But I had to know more. Back in the suite, while everyone was busy grabbing breakfast and ironing shirts, I slipped into the bathroom with her phone again. I opened the messages and scrolled further up. That's when I found it. A photo. It was a selfie. Her in a hoodie, no makeup, cuddled up next to someone with dark stubble, his jaw pressed against her cheek. He wasn't smiling. Just staring into the camera, like he knew exactly what this was. Timestamp. 4 nights ago. A night she told me she was staying with her mom, helping with table settings. I felt the room spin. I zoomed in on the guy's face. Something about it was familiar. My mind was in overdrive. I knew I'd seen that face before, but where? Then it hit me. Harder than anything. My stomach twisted. It was my brother. I stared at the screen so long I forgot to breathe. It wasn't just the betrayal of a lover. It was the betrayal of blood. My older brother, Cameron. The guy who introduced us. The guy who toasted to our engagement. The guy who stood beside me when I bought the ring. His face was in that photo, casually pressed to Jessica's cheek, like it belonged there. The same Cameron who always joked that no woman could ever tie him down. The same guy who once told me, if you ever get married, make sure she doesn't look at me too long. Bro, women always do. At the time, I laughed. Now, it felt like a warning. I exited the messages and went to the hidden photos. There were more. Way more. Screenshots of conversations. Photos of her in his truck. One of her in his hoodie. One where she was wearing lingerie I'd never seen before, grinning like a damn goddess, taking a mirror pic with Cameron lying on her bed, shirtless and asleep. I felt like puking. My hands were trembling so bad I could barely hold the phone. What the hell was I supposed to do? Go downstairs and pretend everything was fine? Smile while walking down the aisle? Kiss her in front of our parents while knowing she kissed my brother last week? I locked the phone and shoved it back in my suit pocket. My chest felt like it was caving in. I sat on the edge of the bathtub and just stared into nothing. Eventually, someone knocked on the door. Yo, you good? It was my best man, Kyle. Dude, Jess is asking where the phone is. She's getting her bouquet shots now. I wiped my face with a towel and opened the door. Yeah, I said, just wedding jitters. He chuckled, handed me a small bottle of whiskey. Have a sip. Then go make your girl the happiest woman alive. That line hit different now. I walked down the hallway like I was marching to my own funeral. When I reached the bridal suite, I paused at the door. I could hear her laughing. Jessica. That laugh I used to live for. I opened the door. She was radiant. Dressed in a silk robe, hair pinned in soft curls, eyes lit up with the kind of joy you can't fake. Or maybe she could. She'd clearly been faking a lot. Hey, baby. She beamed when she saw me. You're not supposed to see me before the dress goes on. I smiled like an idiot and handed her the phone. She winked. Lifesaver. Then she kissed me. A soft, perfect kiss. One I'd fantasized about since the night I met her. It tasted like strawberries and venom. I love you, she whispered. I swallowed the lump in my throat and said, I love you too. Then I left before I lost it. I spent the next hour pretending everything was fine. People shook my hand. Women teared up. My mother hugged me tighter than she had in years. I even took photos with Cameron, like we were still brothers. He looked me straight in the eye and smiled. That smile. I knew it now. That cocky, silent, smug little smile he used every time he got away with something. I clenched my fists inside my pockets. We stood in a line, the groomsmen all in a row, waiting for the ceremony to begin. The wedding planner buzzed around like a bee on meth, yelling cues, checking ribbons, fluffing flowers. Then it started. The music. The aisle. The guests turned. Phones raised. Gasps filled the room. Jessica walked out in that dress. That perfect, glistening, dreamlike dress. She looked like everything I had ever wanted in one person. And it was all fake. I don't know how I did it, but I smiled. Walked toward her. Took her hands. The pastor began to speak. I don't remember the words. My ears were ringing. Then came the vows. She read hers first. I knew from the moment we met that you were the one. You were patient with me when I didn't deserve it. You made me believe in love again. I promised to never give you a reason to doubt me, to always be faithful, to cherish you for the rest of my life. The guests were in tears. I wanted to scream. Then it was my turn. I pulled the microphone a little closer. I took a deep breath. And I said, I'm not going to read what I wrote. Whispers spread like wildfire. Jessica tilted her head. What? I had vows, I continued, but something came up this morning. Something I need to share. Cameron shifted in his seat. My mom's smile faded. I reached into my inside pocket, pulled out the photo I had printed at the hotel an hour ago. I turned it toward the audience. The photo of Jessica. In Cameron's hoodie. With his arm around her waist. People gasped. Someone dropped their glass. Jessica's face turned pale. What are you doing? I looked her dead in the eyes. Jessica. I love you. But not enough to marry someone who was still sleeping with my brother 4 days ago. The silence was unbearable. Cameron stood. Bro. Don't. I snapped. Just sit down. Or better yet, leave. Jessica started crying. Hard. Real tears. But I didn't care anymore. I dropped the mic literally. Let it hit the floor. And I walked away. Out of the chapel. Past the guests. Through the parking lot. Still in my tux. Still wearing the damn boutonniere she picked. I didn't even take the limo. I just walked. And kept walking. I didn't cry until I reached the end of the block. I didn't sleep that night. I tried. I laid on the couch at my cousin's house, fully dressed in the tux I never got to take off properly, staring at the ceiling while his dog snored at my feet. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face. Not Jessica at the altar. Not Jessica in her dress. But Jessica in that photo, with Cameron. It replayed in my head like some kind of twisted slideshow, every kiss, every smile, every time she told me she loved me. All of it was a lie. Or at least, that's how it felt now. My phone buzzed nonstop. Texts. Missed calls. My mom. Her mom. The wedding planner. Jess. Cameron didn't call. He didn't need to. Around 6 a.m., I finally checked my messages. My voicemail was full. I played one. Babe, please call me. Please. I don't know what you saw or what you think you know, but it's not what it looks like. I swear to God, I love you. I never meant for, please, just call me. I'm losing my mind here. Click. I didn't call her back. Instead, I called Kyle. My best man. The only person I trusted that morning. You all right? He asked, half asleep. No, I said. I need to talk. 10 minutes later, he picked me up, still in his pajamas, holding 2 coffees and a breakfast sandwich. We sat in his car, parked in the middle of an empty lot, staring at the sunrise like it could fix anything. I need you to tell me everything you know, I said. He didn't respond at first. Just sipped his coffee. About Jess, I added. And my brother. His shoulders tensed. That's all it took. I knew. You knew. Man. I didn't know, no. I suspected. I just didn't want it to be true. You saw something? He sighed. There was this one night a few months back. We were at your apartment for game night. You went to pick up food. Jess and Cam stayed behind. When I came back from the bathroom, they were on the balcony, real close. Too close. Did they kiss? No. But it felt wrong. And they stopped talking when I stepped out. She acted like I wasn't supposed to see them. I rubbed my face, trying to keep my composure. Why didn't you say anything? Because I didn't want to blow up your life over a hunch. And honestly, man, I thought you were happy. I didn't want to be that guy. That guy. Everyone's afraid to be that guy. The messenger. The bad news. The one who gets blamed for lighting the match, even when he didn't pour the gasoline. But you were right, I said. He looked at me, full of guilt. I'm sorry, man. We sat in silence for a while. Eventually, I pulled out my phone and scrolled through the other voicemails. Her mom. My aunt. Even one from the goddamn florist. All trying to figure out what happened. One message stood out. It was from Cameron. Yo, I get that you're mad, but don't do anything stupid. We can talk this out. Call me. I played it again, slower this time. I wasn't imagining the arrogance in his voice. He wasn't sorry. He was just trying to get ahead of it. Later that day, I drove to our old house. The one Jess and I were supposed to move into next week. The moving truck was already scheduled. The key still worked. Her stuff was everywhere. Dresses in the closet. A box labeled Wedding Night sitting on the bed. I sat on the edge of the mattress, pulled open the box. There were candles. Silk lingerie. A note. It read, for the man I'll love forever. I almost laughed. Instead, I lit one of the candles and watched it burn for a minute. Then I blew it out. I didn't take anything with me. That night, I sent one message. To Jessica. It said, meet me. One time. One conversation. That's all you get. She responded within seconds. Name the place. I told her, the park where I proposed. 8 p.m. Alone. She showed up early. She wore a hoodie and no makeup, like the girl I fell in love with. Like she thought dressing down would make it easier. It didn't. She looked like hell. And still, I hated how part of me wanted to hug her. That instinct, the muscle memory of love, is hard to kill. She opened with, please don't hate me. I didn't say anything. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I still didn't speak. It started out as nothing. We were drunk. After your birthday party, you passed out early. He was still up. I don't know what happened. 1 second we were laughing and then... Her voice cracked. And then it didn't stop. I looked her dead in the eyes. How long? She didn't answer. How long? A little over a year. That was the moment my heart stopped. A year. 365 days. While I was planning a life, she was planning excuses. I thought I could stop. I tried. But he kept pulling me back in. That's funny, I said. He told me the same thing about gambling. She flinched. I continued. So was the wedding just, what? A safety net? No, she cried. It was real. I wanted to marry you. I love you. You don't do that to people you love. I know, she sobbed. I know. I hate myself for it. I don't care how much you hate yourself, I said, standing up. You don't get to cry and be the victim in the same story you destroyed. She reached out. Please, don't walk away like this. I stepped back. You already took everything, Jess. You don't get my forgiveness too. And I left. She didn't follow. After that night in the park, I cut off contact completely. No more calls. No more texts. I blocked her number, her email, even her Instagram. I didn't just want distance. I wanted erasure. But no matter how far I ran, the truth still had teeth. It followed me into dreams, gnawed at me while I ate, hissed in my ears whenever I closed my eyes. Cameron didn't try to reach me again. Of course not. He wasn't the kind of man who faced the consequences. He let his charm do the damage and his ego pretend it was all accidental. But what he didn't count on was that our mother would find out. And oh boy, she did. 3 days after the wedding imploded, my mom showed up at my apartment unannounced. She never knocked. Never had to. When I opened the door, she looked like she'd aged 10 years in 3 days. Her hands were shaking. She didn't say anything. Just held up her phone. A photo. The same one I'd shown at the altar. Is this real? She asked. I nodded. She sat down and just stared at the wall. Like she couldn't believe it. Like she didn't recognize the son she'd raised. He won't talk to me, she whispered. He just keeps saying you overreacted. I laughed bitterly. Overreacted? I ruined a wedding in front of 200 people, Mom. That's not overreacting. That's reacting exactly as I should have. She nodded, slowly. I don't know what to do. You boys were my life. We're not boys anymore, I said. One of us became a man. The other stayed a coward. That hit her hard, but not as hard as it hit me to say it. After she left, I poured a glass of bourbon and sat alone, trying to remember what my life felt like before this. That's when I got the letter. Yes, a letter. Not an email. Not a text. A literal envelope slid under my apartment door. I opened it, expecting something from Jess. But it wasn't from her. It was from Cameron. Typed. Signed. Dated. It read, I know you probably hate me right now. I get it. I'm not going to pretend I didn't mess up. But you don't know the full story. You never did. Jessica came to me. Not the other way around. I told her to stop a dozen times. I begged her to tell you. I wanted to tell you myself, but every time I tried, she threatened to hurt herself. She said you'd never forgive me if you found out, so I stayed quiet. I'm not proud of it. I never wanted to steal her. I didn't want her at all, not like that. I just didn't want to lose you. You're my brother. You always have been. I wish I could take it back, but I can't. And I'm sorry. For everything. There was no return address. Just Cam. I crumpled the letter and threw it across the room. Not because it wasn't true, but because part of me wanted to believe it was. And that's what scared me most. That some part of me, some tiny, broken, betrayed part, wanted to believe my brother had been trapped, manipulated, even used. That maybe, somehow, this wasn't completely his fault. But no matter how I twisted it, it always came back to the same question. If he loved me, how could he do this to me? I spent the next few weeks living like a ghost. I went to work, came home, ate cold leftovers, stared at walls. My friends tried to pull me out. Kyle showed up with beers. My cousin invited me to Vegas. My coworkers gave me the kind of looks you give someone whose dog just died. Everyone had a version of the same advice. Move on. Don't let them win. You'll find someone better. I smiled, nodded, pretended to agree. But inside, I was still stuck in that moment, standing at the altar, watching the love of my life turn to ash in front of 100 witnesses. Then came the second hit. One night, I was scrolling through Reddit, of all things, and someone sent me a link. No context. Just, thought you should see this. It was a video. From the wedding. Someone had filmed the whole damn thing on their phone, start to finish. My confrontation. The photo reveal. Jessica's breakdown. Cameron's silence. It had over 2 million views. Title. Groom exposes cheating bride with his brother at the altar, full video. I felt my stomach cave in. The comments were brutal. Damn, this guy's a legend. Good for him. She really said forever while she was in her side pieces hoodie last week. The brother deserves to get rocked. This is why I'll never trust weddings. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I felt naked. Exposed. Like every inch of my pain was now content. Entertainment for strangers. A meme. I deleted the app. For the next few days, I barely spoke. I just sat there, wondering how something so personal became public property. Then, one night, I opened my door to find a small package. No name. No label. Inside, a USB drive. And a note. You deserve to know what else she lied about. I hesitated, but I plugged it in. And what I saw made my blood run cold. The video on the USB started innocently. A screen recording. Messages. Lots of them. From Jessica's phone. I don't know who gave me access. Some friend? Some angry ex-bridesmaid? A wedding planner with a conscience? Doesn't matter. What matters is, I saw everything. The text started 2 years ago. Before we were even engaged. Before I even suspected. Late-night flirty messages with Cameron. Jokes about sharing secrets. Comments like, your brother's cute, but you already knew that. And, if he ever screws up, you know where I'll be. It started before I ever bought the ring. Before she said yes. Before we even had forever in our mouths. One message gutted me worse than the rest. You think he'd freak if he found out we hooked up once? Or would he just forgive me like always? Face with tears of joy. That laugh. That damn emoji. This wasn't a mistake. It was a game. AF** King game. I watched every second of that recording. Every message. Every laugh. Every photo. They talked about me like I was an idiot. Like I didn't matter. Like I was the backup plan if their little fantasy didn't work out. She called me the safe choice. He called me soft. And yet, I never missed a single birthday. I held her hair when she was sick. I paid off her student loans. I was going to marry her. I gave her everything. She gave me back nothing but wounds. By the time the screen recording ended, my hands were shaking so hard I dropped the USB. I sat on the floor for what felt like hours. Then I stood up, and I made a decision. Not revenge, not violence, not some petty post online. Just truth. I took everything I saw, and I sent it to her family, to mine, to anyone who mattered. Not out of malice. Out of clarity. I wasn't going to carry their secrets anymore. Let the truth burn where it must. A week later, I got a knock on the door. It was Cameron. Unannounced. Uninvited. He looked tired. Beat up. His hair was longer. His clothes, wrinkled. He didn't speak for a full minute. Then, I lost everything. I looked him in the eyes. Good. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Good. He nodded. I just wanted to say you were always the better man. I see that now. I closed the door. That was the last time I ever saw my brother. Jessica messaged me 2 months later. From a new number. A long message. It started with, I know you'll never read this, but, and ended with, I still love you. I deleted it. Not because it didn't matter, but because it didn't matter anymore. I moved out of state not long after. New job. New city. No shared memories. No wedding guests whispering in grocery stores. No pity stares from mutual friends. Just space. Just air. Just silence. And in that silence, I started to breathe again. It wasn't quick. It wasn't easy. There were nights I stared at the ceiling wondering if I could ever trust again. If anyone could ever get close to me without stepping on glass. Then one morning, just a regular Tuesday, I went to a cafe I hadn't been to before. The barista smiled at me. Not the fake kind. The real kind. The kind people give when they have no idea who you are. No idea what you've been through. Just kindness without a motive. I smiled back. She laughed. Said, you look like you've been through hell. I smirked. Something like that. We talked for 10 minutes. She got my name wrong. Called me Jake instead of Jack. I didn't correct her. I just liked the sound of being someone else for a second. Then she handed me my coffee and said, well, Jake, whoever broke your heart missed out. And that was it. A moment. A spark. Not a fire. Not yet. But maybe, one day. It's been 8 months since that ruined wedding. I still wear the scar. Still have nightmares sometimes. But I don't flinch anymore when I hear her name. I don't stop breathing when someone asks, so, what happened with the wedding? I just smile and say, didn't work out. But I did. And that's the truth. I may have lost the day, but I found myself. And honestly, that's the best damn ending I could have asked for.